Okay, I had plans for making an entirely different video today, but something happened yesterday and I felt the need to make a reply video, and I spent 4 hours organizing what I was gonna say, and it's all in my notebook with like notes and arrows. So this could get long. Basically what happened is Laci Green recently uploaded a video called Creeps on the Street, where she chastised men who catcall and harass women who are walking alone on the street. And the comments went nuts. A lot of guys were really confused about why it's never a good idea to approach a girl on the street, even if you think you're just giving them a compliment. So I wanted to make this response video for men who are genuinely trying to understand the issue, but don't want to be attacked by women who don't realize you're only asking questions to understand the issue. This topic is a lot bigger than one video can handle, but I hope that it points you in the right direction and maybe even prompts you to talk with your female friends about their experiences with it to gain more awareness. In her video, Laci listed a number of ways that she has felt harassed on the street, which included catcalls, unwanted sexual advances, invasion of personal space, whistling, honking, even people following her for blocks and not taking the hint that she's ignoring them. And all of these things have happened to me as well on multiple occasions when I'm out walking alone. The problem with approaching a woman on the street is it's ultimately an issue of safety. Trust me when I say I really hate to be that person who says, well, you just couldn't understand because it doesn't happen to you. But as a man, it is pretty difficult to understand what it is like to constantly be seen as a potential lay and to constantly have men approach you about it. I'm not saying it's impossible, and I have faith in your ability to empathize and try to put yourself in our shoes. And I'm sure at least some of you have experienced feelings of threat or insecurity because of something another person was doing. But as a woman, this kind of thing happens to me nearly every time I leave the house. One blogger compared it to this. Imagine you go to Starbucks every day to try to get work done, and a cute girl comes up to you and says, can I buy you a coffee? And you think, sure, I'd love a coffee. But once the coffee's in your hand, she sits down and says, I'd like to talk to you about Jesus. Now, if this only happened once, you could brush it off as an isolated incident, but imagine it happens every time you go to Starbucks, and sometimes multiple times. You're trying to do your work, you just want to get it done, and a girl comes up and offers to buy you a drink. And sure, eventually there might be one girl who genuinely just wants to get to know you and buy you a drink, but after being approached by so many girls that actually just want to talk to you about Jesus, you begin to question anyone who offers you a drink in case they have an ulterior motive. In other words, you no longer really feel safe doing your work at Starbucks. If you want to approach a girl and give her a compliment, do it in a safe environment, but out on the street when she's walking alone will never be a safe environment, especially when she's by herself. Unfortunately, due to the amount of whistles and dudes catcalling and stopping us and following us while they're in their cars, your well-intentioned compliment, no matter how innocent it sounds to you, will always come off as creepy and even dangerous. We're all warned about stranger danger as kids, but girls have twice the worry heaped on their shoulders thanks to fear of sexual assault. We also have society telling us that our appearance might be to blame for these assaults. So we have society telling us, don't be too sexy or you'll get raped. And then we have you approaching us on the street while we're alone saying, hey, you're sexy. Yeah, so you're saying, you're attractive, you're pretty, I saw you walk in, I think you're hot. And we're hearing you say, what do I have to do to get in bed with you? We see you coming up to us knowing nothing about us other than how we look to you. You don't know if we have anything in common, you don't know if we'd even get along, you don't know if the woman you're approaching has actually been a victim of sexual assault in the past and your approach could be triggering a flashback or depression for her. And on the other side of that coin, we don't know how strong you are, if you're carrying a weapon, if you've committed sexual assault before, if you have a history of aggression, or if we'd be able to handle ourselves should it turn violent for some reason. In general, men are physically stronger than women, and unless we're really well trained in self-defense, and sometimes even then, there's that added fear of not knowing if you might get aggressive with us. Your intentions might be pure, but these are things that we have to worry about for our own safety when we're out alone. Your strength and our uncertainty about your intentions automatically puts you in a position of power just by approaching us, and we're left feeling exposed and vulnerable. And you're especially intimidating when you're looming out of a car. If we're on foot, we can't outrun your car. If you decide to follow us all the way home, there's nothing we can really do about it. You're in an extreme position of power when you're approaching us in a car, and we're already on the defensive being out alone on the street, which makes us even less prone to want to talk to you. And I know you're thinking, that's so unfair, not every guy is a rapist. I just want to tell you that you're pretty. But you have to understand that for all of these reasons, by approaching a girl on the street and commenting on her appearance, you have taken away her sense of safety. And I know you're not all assholes, and I know you're not all dangerous, and some of you really just want to give this girl a compliment, and many of you might be thinking, I don't want to lose this opportunity. What if that girl's my future wife? Here's a comment someone left on Laci's video. Imagine this. I'm walking down the street and I see this girl, light red hair, beautiful green eyes, and a little tan. I want to say hi to her and get her number. How am I supposed to get it if just talking to her is harassment? Now, I ignored the fact that this guy seems to think he has a right to get this girl's phone number, but I replied with the following. Imagine this. You are a beautiful girl with light red hair, beautiful green eyes, and a little tan. You are approached by guys who just want to say hi and get your number every time you leave the house. You can't just buy some damn bread in peace. You probably already have a boyfriend, and some of these guys won't even see that as a sufficient reason to leave you alone. The Starbucks blogger pointed out that it's ultimately your need to say something to this girl that overrides worrying about how she might react or her feelings of safety. He said, look, if this girl is so attractive that you just have to snag this opportunity at this very moment, then so be it. But acknowledge you're being selfish. You're saying, she's so pretty, I have to go bother her at this very instant on the off chance that she's into me. And I can still hear you screaming, but what if I see a pretty girl on the street? Am I supposed to just let that opportunity pass me by? Yes. Exactly. Just as one woman's example, here's a list of how and where I've met everyone I've ever dated. School, a mutual friend introduced us. We were both at a gathering for National Novel Writing Month. We were both at a party hosted by a mutual friend. We both regularly attended events for people interested in flow toys. You'll note that none of these included, well, I was walking next to a busy street because circumstances of the day led me to have to walk home alone. And he followed me in his giant truck for 2 blocks while yelling out the window, hey, hey, before pulling into a driveway, blocking my path, and saying, hey, I saw you walking and you're real pretty. Do you have a husband? To quote Amanda Palmer, I wonder if this method of courtship has ever been effective. Has any girl in history said, sure, you seem so nice, let's get it on. No. So to all of you wondering, well, what should I do if I see an attractive girl on the street? Nothing. Complimenting her in that environment puts her in a position of vulnerability and discomfort. Keeping your thoughts to yourself might seem unfair to you, but you're actually showing respect by practicing restraint. It's perfectly normal and natural to notice girls and think they're attractive, but you automatically become the bigger man by just letting them go about their day. Let it go. Admire to yourself, silently, no whistling or honking please, and move on. I understand that you may not have known in the past that your well-meaning compliment came with so much emotional baggage attached, but now that you do know, you're able to make an educated choice on how you approach the situation. I didn't get to go myself, but at Burning Man this year there was a beautiful sculpture of a naked woman, and written around the base it said, imagine what the world would be like if women were safe. In a perfect world, women wouldn't feel like they have to cover up to feel safe when they go outside, but because a lot of men, not all, I realize this, but a lot of men seem to think that our bodies are on display for their pleasure, it puts a great deal of pressure on us to dress in a nice way that won't invite catcalls or worse. And I've still gotten catcalls while I'm out walking in jeans and a baggy t-shirt. A side note here that I think is worth noting, we as women did not leave the house, put on our clothes, do or not do our hair and makeup for your benefit as men. We left the house because we needed to go somewhere, and where is none of your business. Or maybe we just wanted to go for a walk because it's good exercise. We wore what we wore because it's comfortable, because we think it looks good on us, or we like the way it makes us feel about ourselves. We did our hair and makeup because we like to play with design, color, and aesthetic. We did it because we like to see that transformation happen in the mirror from being undone to being all done up. We did it because it makes us feel confident. Or maybe we didn't do it because we had other things we wanted to do that morning. Maybe we didn't do it because we didn't want to spend so much time on something that's only going to come out at the end of the day. Maybe we didn't do it because we don't have the money to spend on quality makeup and hair tools. Maybe we didn't do it because we don't know how. But none of it is for men. It's all for us, personally. Albin Wonderland did an amazing video on this topic, by the way. Go ahead and click the screen if you want to watch it. It'll open in a different window. And side note. Now guys, I do realize it's entirely possible for harassment to go both ways. Women can be just as capable of making men feel unsafe. Look at creepy stalker girls. Look at overly attached girlfriend. Knowingly putting anyone in an unsafe or vulnerable position is never okay, male or female. That being said, I've noticed that far less men than women understand why compliments on the street put women in an unsafe and vulnerable position. And just because it can happen to a man, it doesn't mean that it's suddenly okay for men to continue doing it to women. So you may find yourself asking, well, how am I supposed to meet girls if I can't compliment them on the street? The answer is actually really simple. Talk to them in an environment where they feel safe already. Talk to them at parties hosted by mutual friends. Join social groups that share your hobbies and interests and talk to the women there. Join a singles club and talk to the women at those events. They're already expecting to meet new people. Go to clubs and bars where a lot of people go looking to meet someone. I mean, it even feels more safe to be approached at a grocery store than it does on the street, because at least in a grocery store, we're surrounded by people. We know there's security guards, we know there's security cameras, and we know there's someone we can talk to if anything goes wrong. But please don't try to approach a woman walking alone on the street when her defenses are already up. And then when you do talk to her, try to connect over shared interests and don't start with her appearance. Here are some compliments and conversation starters that are most likely going to go over much better than "you're attractive." Compliment her hair if it looks like she's spent time on it. "Your hair's pink, that's so cool." Compliment her clothes. And by that I mean, "Hey, I like your shirt." Not, "Damn, that top makes the girls look good." Notice if she's wearing anything that might signify that she shares some of your interests and connect on that. "Hey, you have a TARDIS pin on your purse. I love Doctor Who." Compliment something she's skilled at. "So my friend tells me you're a hula hooper? That's pretty cool. Can you tell me more about that?" What makes these things different from complimenting her appearance or her body? I'm going to tell you, and I really, really want you to listen closely on this point and try to understand it. When you compliment her on one of the things I listed, you are complimenting something that she actively chose to internalize as her identity. Something that she identifies with on a personal level and considers a part of her. When you compliment her general appearance and her body, it's honestly something she can't do much about. She has the body she has. For example, I have extreme curves whether I weigh 160 pounds or 200 pounds. I can't change it. It's just the way my body is. You may as well be complimenting my parents for giving birth rather than complimenting me. In other words, you're complimenting something that the girl does not strongly connect with her identity as a human being. Imagine if every time you left the house, people stopped you and said, "Oh man, I love that building you're standing in front of. Thanks for being near it." Ooh, baby, buildings sure know how to stand behind you. Damn, that's a nice building. Hey, do you know if it's open? Now, as with anything else in life, circumstance will affect how your compliment is received. If a girl's been dieting, working out, or hell, maybe she just got a boob job, then that compliment could go over really well. But you have no way of knowing that for sure, so go ahead and err on the side of connecting with her on a personal level rather than complimenting the building she's beside. And that's all I have to say. I know I've said a lot of stuff, and you may not agree with all of it, but I encourage you to ask questions and keep investigating. I would love to hear your thoughts on this, especially from my guy friends. If you've watched this far and have feelings, please share them. Just be sure to do it in a respectful way. Understand that I'm not attacking you. I'm just trying to help you understand why girls don't really like these compliments. And girls, I also ask that if you see something in the comments written by a man, respond in a respectful way that will help them understand. Don't attack them, don't call names. Let's keep it civil, please. I'm on your side, guys. I really think it's just a general lack of understanding about what causes these issues rather than a genuine desire to come off as creepy or douchey. And thank you so much for watching, especially if you stuck through all of this. I really appreciate you hearing me out and taking the time to just think about this stuff. I'll be back with a less serious vlog next time, I hope. Bye! And a little tan.